Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Super User Index Tech Talk. And today we're going to be hearing from Amy Pirquet with Waterfront Graphic Design, who is an award-winning web designer. And she's going to give us some more information about SEO, those three little letters that everyone is wondering more information about and no one knows anything other than the pros. So with that, Amy, why don't you take it away and give us your knowledge.
Okay, well, I'll try to share my screen here. And you're all gonna have to let me know if you see it okay. Because I'm looking at two different screens, so I don't know if you're gonna see it or not.
Right? Yes, we can see it now.
Okay. And then we're gonna do full screen mode. I think that will work. Okay, can you still see it?
Yes.
Okay. So, hi, like Susie said, my name is Amy Pirquet. I own Waterfront Graphic Design, and yeah, SEO. What is it all about? What can you do to make your website show up better on Google, show up higher on Google, and get more leads? So there's a lot of different things that affect SEO, and unfortunately, in this talk, we're not going to be able to cover every single one of them. So I picked some that would be really good, useful tips that you can implement that will help your website show up better on Google faster. Okay, so the first thing is registering your website with Google Search Console. This is a free offering from Google. You just go into Google, type in Google Search Console, and create an account. Once you create this account, and it does take about like 24 to 48 hours for it to kind of populate. So don't expect to see stuff right away, but it will start tracking your website visits, the impressions. Impressions is how many times your website is shown in Google. Clicks is how many times someone actually clicks on your website in the Google listing. So both are important because if you have a really high impression rate, your SEO is working, and your clicks are low, then there may be something wrong. People are not interested in clicking on your website, and you have to dive into the reason why. So both of those numbers are extremely important. Another thing Google Search Console tells you is keywords. Keywords that your site is found under, how popular each one of your pages are, and if you have any errors on your website. So these are all important pieces for you to know in order to either make changes on your website or change your marketing. If a lot of people are coming to your website from Facebook, and you're going, wow, like 50% of my leads are coming from Facebook, what's the first thing you're going to do, right? Up my Facebook game, right? It's like, okay, so I need to concentrate a little bit more on Facebook because that's where half of my people are coming from. So Google Search Console tells you all of that information, and then you're not just marketing blindly. You're marketing with some knowledge of, this is my main clientele. This is where they're coming from. Let's up my game over there. All right, so the next thing is, this is actually in Google Search Console. You submit a sitemap, and what that does is it helps Google know what your website is about, what pages you have on your website, and like the whole menu and structure of your website. That's what a sitemap does. And it tells Google who and what you do, who you are, what you do, and where to put you under. Without that sitemap, Google's kind of going a little blind. And again, this is a free thing right in Google Search Console. And you just put your URL in, hit submit, and then it tells you how many pages you have and if they're all successfully indexed on Google.
Amy, are you trying to advance slides? Because we still see your Google search engine optimization
Yes.
screen.
Okay, so it says that the screen sharing is paused. Okay, how do we unpause that? I've never seen that before. Okay, I'm going to stop the share and I'll start over again.
Okay.
I suppose it's because I'm trying to use two screens, which is probably part of the problem. All right, I'm going to, are you seeing them advance at all?
They stayed on the main screen.
Okay. All right, sorry about this, guys. Technological issues.
But I am advancing my own PDF, so don't let it
Okay.
stop you.
Yes, me too.
That's good, because now I can't seem to get it to, I'm gonna have to put this over on this screen, I think. It's just not gonna let me do that. Completely back out and start over. All right, how about that?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just not gonna be able to look at you guys while I'm talking, I guess, because that's part of the
Okay.
issue.
Okay.
So the next thing is making sure that your website loads fast. This is an extremely important part of Google. With 60 to 70% of the internet using mobile devices, you want to make sure that your website loads quickly. Like it doesn't take a minute for your website to finally show up in a browser. And a really easy way to see if your website's loading fast is Google page speed. Again, go to Google, type in Google page speed, and you'll see this little page pop up. All you have to do is put your URL in there and hit analyze. And after about 30 seconds to a minute, Google will tell you whether or not your website loads fast or if it's like slow as molasses. So when you find that out, it also kind of tells you what's the thing that's slowing up your website. Like it could be a video on your page or like a really large photo. That photo, if you maybe take it out and then rerun it, you can see, oh yeah, it's running a lot faster now. So if you downsave the photo and make it a little smaller, file size wise, then your website will load a lot faster. But without knowing that, if your website is loading slow, Google's going to ding you and put you lower in its search, right? Because Google is all about experience to its users. Google is a business just like all of us are. All of us have a business. And Google wants the best product for its users, right? So if certain products that are on its products aren't good, that makes them look bad. They don't want people going to another search engine and searching for things. They want people to stay on Google and be Google users. So they're trying to make sure that everything that runs is on their platform runs to the best quality that it can possibly be. That's why this is like this. Next little tidbit, backlinks. So backlinks are a link from another website to your website. And this helps Google. It's like I kind of joke and say, Google is like high school. It's all about popularity. So the more popular that you are on the internet, the more Google's like, hey, people really seem to like this website. Let's push them higher up in the rankings. So backlinks are another way for Google to check if you're legitimate, if you are a business that's actually still around and not, out of business. And it shows that other businesses trust you. So if you don't know any other businesses that can maybe link to your website from their website, I put a list here of some organizations where you can set up free accounts and put your website on it. So Merchant Circle, that used to be a lot much bigger a long time ago, but people still use it and it still counts as a backlink. So if you just spend a couple of hours setting up accounts on some of these places, they all count as website links as long as you put your website in the account. And the more backlinks that you have, the more popular you are in Google's mind. All right. Title tags. So when you build a website, did you know that what you put in the title tag is extremely important to help you get found in Google? Now, that's if you go to your website and you see that little SEO thing on the back end, so if it's Wix or Squarespace or WordPress, they all have it. If you don't fill that out, Google's going to decide what to put in there for you. The page title or the title tag is in this slide. You see the big blue text there? That's actually a title tag. You have 60 characters to write whatever you want to write there. But the most important thing is to put big keywords. So you see on this one, it says ... here at the end of same day. That means their title tag's too long. Okay, so anything after that ... isn't going to show up in Google anyways. So, but it says florist and floral delivery in Los Angeles. They want to get found as a floral delivery service in Los Angeles. That's pretty apparent here. What you put in that title tag is what Google's going to put you under. If you don't put anything there, Google's going to put you wherever they want to put you. And it may not be the right keywords or under the right search that you want to be found under. So how do we find out what keywords to do, what to look it up? All you have to do is go into Google, type in Google keyword search, and a bunch of websites, and they're all free, are going to pop up. You can click on one of them and you can just put in the keywords that you think you want to get found under, and it will spit back a whole bunch of information. Like if you want to get found under florist, how many times a month does that keyword get searched? Or does floral delivery get found more? So depending on what the numbers come back as is the keywords that you would end up using. And I know that's a little confusing, but if you guys have any questions at all, you can always reach out to me and you say, hey, I did this research. What do you think, Amy? I'd be happy to help you and give you some feedback on any of these things. So after you do your target keyword search, yes, you have to put it in your title tag, but you also have to put those keywords in your website. So the top of the page of your homepage or any of the other subsequent pages have a headline. Every website has and every website page has a headline. That's called an H1 tag. And that's a techie term for basically the top headline of your website. You should be using keywords in that headline. In this website right here that I put in as an example, they're a vineyard and they want to get found under vineyard and they want to get found under winemakers because they sell their grapes to winemakers. So you see that those keywords are right front and center. It's not, you don't keyword stuff and say, vineyard, 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 vineyard. You have to make it a sentence. It has to be English, right? And then you can use them there, but it's at the top of the page and it's an H1 tag. So Google's going to look at that and go, okay, they're a vineyard. Yeah, they want to get found under that keyword. So it's another way that Google determines what to put you under.
Would you be able to advance your slides to that? Because we're following along on the PDF. We can see everything that you're talking about, just not on the screen that you're sharing.
Okay, because I am advancing it, but it's just not advancing for you guys, huh?
I guess not. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. It
No,
should be, but yeah, so you're not seeing me move everything, huh?
No, we're following along on the PDF.
Okay. Well, I guess that's maybe what we're gonna have to do.
Yeah, which is fine.
I wonder if I do this. Do you see it now?
No,
You don't see anything, just the same old.
We
I
don't
don't see
see,
your
you're not
screen.
sharing. I don't think you're sharing
Okay.
right now.
Oh yeah, because I shut it down. I mean, I can try it one more time, but
Yeah.
Zoom can be fun that way. Okay,
Yeah.
how about that?
We see that one, yeah.
Okay. Maybe I can't do it in display mode. I just have to do it in standard PDF mode. Okay. So the keyword, we talked about the headline here. So moving on to, yeah, it won't even let me advance there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Now that works? Okay,
Yep.
yeah, I guess it doesn't want me to do it in full screen mode. All right, so optimizing images for SEO. This is something that has become extremely important and even a legal aspect that you need to be considerate of when it comes to SEO. So has anybody heard of ADA compliance? Yeah,
Yes.
okay. So
ADA compliance?
yeah, American Disabilities
With,
Act.
correct. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
So just like when you have a brick and mortar, there's certain things that you need to, you have to have so many handicap parking spots, and you have to have a wheelchair ramp, and you have to have certain railings in certain locations, right? There is being a crackdown on websites that are not accessible for screen readers. So how do you make a website screen reader friendly? First and foremost is optimizing the actual images that are on your website. And when you upload an image to the website, like you can see on the left-hand side, it says without alt text. And you named that file image 1234. If you don't put alt text in, the screen reader is just going to read IMG underscore 1234. So the person that is has a vision disability or is blind and is using a screen reader is not going to know what that image is. But if you put in alt text, you can write in what that image is. So the example just says airplane landing. The screen reader will then say image, it's of an airplane landing. So the people that are using screen readers can know what your website's about. If they don't know what your website about, or it gives it a whole bunch of gobbledygook like image 1234, they're going to go and find someone else where they can use their screen reader. And you have to realize 15% of people use some kind of screen reader. And it's not just people that are blind. There are people that have low visibility, that maybe don't have the ability to use their arms, or people that are colorblind can sometimes use screen readers because they don't see things the same way that we do. So it's not just blind people, and you think, oh, well, blind people aren't my clientele, but there's other people in there to actually consider.
Some people with
Yep.
dyslexia also use because they don't read very well.
They don't read very well.
And so they have it read out loud to them.
Mhm.
I actually have a blind client, so this is very exciting. When I help people update things, I have them drop a pin so that a blind person can actually find the front door because I drop the pin at the front door. So things like that are really important, and this is really helpful. Thank you.
Mhm. So when you upload a photo to the back end of your website, there is the option to put in an alt text. And I can tell you right now, the majority of businesses and website owners leave that blank. So you're missing out on 15% of your business. And I mentioned earlier about a legal aspect. There are lawyers out there that are going after people that are not ADA compliant. So if a screen reader can't read your website, you could get sued. And the numbers of that are going up. More and more people are getting contacted by lawyers that don't have the ability for people with disabilities to use their website. It's the same thing as having a brick and mortar that is not accessible. So that's really important. And I'm actually going through this a lot faster, so we will have time to go over even more. So, like I said, I made slides for a fraction of the SEO stuff. Okay, so the old saying, content is king. If you do not have enough words on your page, you are going to have a harder time getting found on Google. I like to say at least 600 words per page. That doesn't mean a wall of text, right? You go to your website and it's just one big wall of text. That text does have to be broken up visually because we are visual creatures. right? Even if people don't realize they're visual creatures, if it's a wall of text, people go, oh, I ain't reading that, and they hit the back button. But it's divided up. You have a paragraph, a beautiful graphic or an infographic, another paragraph, a video, another paragraph. People ingest things in smaller chunks. So make sure each one of your pages that you want on Google's search, right? Because not every page that is on your website do you want to get found on Google, right? But the pages that you want to get found on Google has at least 600 words or more. Now, the little graphic on the left, that little sweet spot, don't sit and talk about yourself for those 600 words. Talk about what your clients want to hear. Talk about what resonates with them, the problems that they're having, the issues that they're having, and how you can help. It's more like an empathy game of like, you're talking about the issues that they're having and how you can help. The content that you put on your page should be more about them and less about you. Because if they see that you're talking to them, right, and kind of about them, they're like, oh man, this person gets me. They get my problem. I need to contact this person. They can help me. Do you understand the difference between talking about yourself and talking up to your client's needs? So if you don't know what the problem is, I do have a questionnaire that I can send you guys that you can ask some past clients how they felt before working with you. Like your perfect client that you were like, I loved working with that person. I want to find 100 more of those people. Ask them some questions like, what kind of problems were you having? What feelings were you having? And then how did I help you? How did you feel after I helped you? Those kind of emotions are what you want to write to in the headlines of your website, right? And then say, oh, are you having this problem? You know, the biggest problem when people come to me, the biggest thing that I hear, I'm embarrassed to send people to my website. Do not think that I haven't started using that in my social media posts. Are you embarrassed by your website? Yeah, I can help you with that, right? Because that's the feeling that they're having. They don't know how to fix that, but they know that they're embarrassed. How do I get myself unembarrassed of my website? I don't know. Oh yeah, she's talking to me. She knows, she gets it. I got to call her, right? So when we're talking about content, we're talking about talking to the emotion. The next part of this slide, common questions to ask. I just put this in the Google search. If you don't know what to write about, go to Google and write something. I put in common questions asked about SEO on Google. It spat back a couple of questions. So people are constantly asking Google, what is SEO? What are SEO facts? What's the biggest problem with SEO? Okay, that's a big question that people are asking on SEO. What if you wrote a blog post answering that question? So when people ask that question on Google, your blog post is going to show up. You're going to come across as that go-to person. So find some questions that people are putting on Google, make a list of those questions and start writing blog posts about them. Answer those questions. And so you're going to start showing up not only under keywords, but you're going to start showing up when people actually ask questions on Google. And people are more likely now to ask questions than just put in a keyword search. Yes, Susie.
I have a couple questions.
Okay.
One, how many websites do you think don't have blogs attached, that they don't have enough content per page and aren't getting, is that their main issue? Or do you find that that's kind of a loaded question. Like, do you find it's the keywords and the headers, or like when you go into the back end, what are you seeing?
All of the above. So when someone comes to me and they're like, I know I need SEO, I don't, I have this website, and the website could be the most beautiful website in the world. I would say about 75% of the websites that come to me have absolutely nothing done for SEO. So the problem that people are having, so, when I write blog posts, I write to this problem is, oh, I'm not getting found on Google. I don't know why, but I just can't get found on Google. And I've got this beautiful new website and everything's great on it, but I go to Google and I can't find myself. Why is that? And it's because they don't have a title tag. They don't have enough content. They don't have any alt tags on the photos. Like some of these basic things are all missing in the website. So it could be the greatest message in the world that they're giving, and they offer the greatest service. But if you're not going to get found on Google, what's the point? Right?
It's like having a restaurant and not having a menu.
Or a
Nobody's
sign
gonna,
out front saying open.
yes,
Come
yeah.
on in.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are like,
Um,
"Oh, I'm not going to come in." Yeah.
Is
So
there also a way you could kind of show us like what it looks like in the back end, like where you would put things? Or does it depend on which platform?
it does
work-
depend on the platform. What does everybody have?
Well, I use Cultivating Sales for my
High level.
website.
Yeah.
Yeah, high level.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody have WordPress or Wix or Squarespace?
WordPress.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Squarespace.
Yeah, so
for clients.
everybody pretty much here has a different platform. And I had thought about showing a back end, but you guys just proved that every back end is a little bit different on where things are located. They all
Literally.
work the same, but where to find the SEO, like to put the title tags in Squarespace or Wix, is completely different in Shopify and WordPress. On WordPress, you do it right on the page. In Wix and Squarespace, there's a back end place. It's not even on the website. It's just in the back end of the site. So, yeah, it really does depend. So I'm sorry to say that's the case. But if you guys decide to try to find your SEO and you can't find, again, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to go, okay, here's where you find it. Because some of them, like Wix, it's kind of hard to find. It's not easy. So
Yeah.
sorry to be a general answer there, but
Nope,
it
it's
does
perfect.
vary. Mhm.
Yeah. I feel like there's so many people that don't know how important this is. And I
Mhm.
don't know.
I
Yeah,
think
I
in
think we
all the
do.
years that I've been having a website, which is a long time, and I try to do things myself because that's the kind of person I am.
Mhm.
SEO has always been one of those. You think of it as like, oh gosh, that's coding, or like that's too much for me to handle. I have to hire somebody special, which is great. I don't discount that at all, but it is really important. And so understanding kind of that connection between the H1 tag and letting Google decide where you belong, or deciding yourself where you belong, and not being redundant with that.
Mhm.
Because if they're already going because my name is in the title, then I don't really need to say my name again in the tag. What I really need to do is essentially sell what my solution is, or how I'm helping the pain point.
Mhm. And since your title tag is only 60 characters, and that does include spaces, by the way, don't put your business name in there. That's my number one piece of advice. I see that all the time. There you go, Susie. I see that all the time. People put the business name up there and that's it. And what I tell people is if somebody knows your business name, they know you exist, they can find you, right? You're trying to get found in front of people that don't know that you exist, that are trying to find you. They want your service. So you want to use keywords up there, not your business name.
Yeah.
Susie.
Would you find, or do you find that most of the brick and mortar local businesses are the most affected by, or those types of businesses where I have a service-based business and nobody's really typing in crazy connector lady, You know, like I have a different type of business than other people, so it really affects those brick and mortar people more.
Well, there's two different kinds of SEO. There's local SEO and nationwide SEO. Okay, so local SEO is great if you are a brick and mortar or you're a service-based business like a plumber and you drive to people's locations because you want to find a local plumber, right? You don't, we're in Wisconsin, or I am. I don't want to find a plumber in California. I want to find a plumber who can drive to my house and fix my issue. So getting found under local is a lot simpler than getting found nationwide, right? Because you're not just working against the businesses locally, you're working against all your other competition. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So this slide, nice segue, Susie. This slide is more about local SEO. So does everybody have a Google business profile? Yeah. Okay. So if you don't claim this and you don't fill it out, the likelihood of you getting found locally in a local search, almost slim to none. I don't care what you do with your website. Google really, really likes its maps and its Google business profiles. So make sure that you claim that and you keep it up to date. If you're either a brick and mortar or you even service-based, if you have operating hours, make sure those are up to date too, because you can really make people mad if someone shows up to your business and they used Google and they trusted your hours and it's wrong. So you can get a really bad reputation for having the hours wrong. And then someone tries to contact you during those working hours and you're not open. So just make sure all of the content, again, make sure your website's on here, it links over to your website. Make sure all the content is really, really available and accessible.
And does having a lot of the SEO work done help you in the future if you wanted to use Google Ads? Like, or doesn't it have anything to do with one another? No.
Not really.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
And I'll give you a little tidbit for anybody that's thinking about using Google Ads. There's 65,000 searches a second on Google. And only, was it 0.2% of people actually click on an ad? Most people scroll right past that ad and they go down to the actual listings. So it's actually a really small percentage of people. You can put your ad out there, but like 0.2%. So it's really small. So you have to put that into consideration when you want to potentially put an ad out there. Plus, sometimes people just click on it to click on it, and they're not even interested in your service. Or your competitors can sit there and click on it, right? I've heard people do that. And then like that ups your cost per month. But if you put like $200, right, that's only so many clicks a month that you can get. Your competition will sit there and click on those ads until your ad disappears. I'm not
That's
saying everybody in
awful.
the world is decent, but that's what happens sometimes, right?
Yeah.
The only thing that I like right now, I'm not a big Google Ads fan anymore. Let's try to do it more naturally. I like the Google certified. I have a couple clients that use Google certified. It's only available to certain businesses, but they're adding new businesses all the time. So last time I checked, my business couldn't be in Google certified, but you could place an ad out there. And the only time you pay is if someone picks up the phone and calls you. So they don't just click, they actually have to call you. And Google tracks all of that. Now you pay more for each, like the actual phone call. It's like almost $100 for call. So your service has to be of like, worth that, right? Or more. But for like a $5,000 job, is it worth it to get a client? and they've already picked up the phone call. And we all know that if someone's already called you, they're kind of already invested. So that works really great for some of those higher ticket service items, right? Like a house painter or something like that. Like it works great for those companies. But if I could ever get on it, I'd probably do it too, because if somebody hires me to do a website, it's more than $100. Right. So, but you got to be willing to invest the money in those. And that $100 per call is a little scary. But it does vary from customer to customer on, or business to business, on how much the actual call costs. So.
Yeah. Any other questions for Amy?
Well, I was just making a comment that people really look for the reviews, I think, more than ads. We're
Mhm.
all getting pop-up ads all the time that you're trying to get past in order to read the content, in my opinion. And so doing a Google review for someone, or asking for a Google 5-star Google review really does, people
Mhm.
want that word of mouth, if you will, endorsement. You don't typically go to Google and go, okay, show me, like, I need a new doctor. You ask a friend to give you a recommendation for a doctor or a dentist.
Mm.
But the review kind of takes the place of, you trust that someone is giving a positive review because they truly have had that positive experience. So I would say that for
And the reason
me,
why I have that on this slide is, yes, people definitely do read reviews, and like this is actually a screenshot of mine. I have 40 reviews on mine, but I ask people when I get done working with, can you write a review? Can you write a review? It also helps your SEO. The more positive reviews that you have, again, it's that popularity thing. Google's like, oh yeah, people really like this company. Let's move them up in the search rankings. So there's businesses out there that they'll have like 1 or 2 reviews, and I'm like, get more reviews. If you want to get found on Google, that's one of the steps, right? The more reviews you have, the better. Again, all about popularity.
I agree.
Yep. So on your Google business profile, did you know that you could post on a Google business profile like you can on Facebook? I recommend doing it at least once a week. I have been seeing clients where I post on their Google business profile weekly, and you get feedback from your Google business profile on how many people visit, how many people see your Google business profile. And this is not even your website, right? This is just your Google business profile. And the interaction that when I start posting on a regular and getting them more reviews, they start getting more traction through their Google business profile and through their website just from posting on Google. So if you can post once a week on Google with a special offer or anything once a week, you can start seeing more traffic to your business substantially. And I've seen it firsthand. So if you're posting something to Facebook or LinkedIn or any other platform that you use, take that post, rewrite it just ever so slightly, and post it over to Google. You're going to start seeing the performance of your Google business profile skyrocket. Okay, here's another one most people don't know about. Do you know how Google, they always say original content is king, blah, 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 blah. Did you know that you can do a photo search in Google? If you take a photo and you snapshot it, you can find the same Google, how many other places on the internet has used this photo? Because of that new little development in Google, they want original custom photos on your website. Obviously, this is me. This is my homepage. A lot of the photos on my website are of me doing things I love, like boating. Try to use as little stock photos as possible, because Google's going to see that you used an image that thousands of other people used, and you're not very unique. You know, Google, again, they want that unique experience. They want those people that are showing almost like their authentic selves out there, right? So make sure that as much as possible, you're using your own photos, your own original content, and Google just really scores that highly right now for SEO. And this one we already did, and I think that is all the slides for today. So does anybody have any questions? And look, right on time. Yay. So if you want any helps with these steps or anything, feel free to reach out. I'm here to help with any questions or anything anybody has. So any questions? Yeah.
You mentioned Google certified.
Yep. That's another form of advertising. Let me see if I can, I'm going to stop the share. Let me see if
Have
I
a
can
link for that.
find, you've probably seen it on Google. You just don't know that you've seen it on Google. Let me try to find one on Google quick, and then I'll show it to you. Lawyers typically have a lot of them. Watch, I probably won't be able to find one. They have a little green icon next to them that say Google certified, but it's actually an ad. Let me see if I can. Of course, when you're on the spot, you can never find anything, right?
Something that I started doing years ago, just with my own, Google, I'm looking for things on maps. I started taking pictures of things. So I'm from Wisconsin too. And
Mhm.
I was in Madison. I used to live in McFarland. And so we went to our favorite fish fry place and it was empty because we got there early, like 3:30 on a Friday afternoon, and the dining room was empty. And I took a picture, and then the bartender made two beautiful brandy old fashions, and I snapped a picture and I posted them as a great review for Toby's in McFarland. And that picture, all these years later, has millions of views. People are able to find it. I dropped a pin at the front door. I said that it was ADA compliant, all of those things. I've had so many, like I'm a local guide according to Google, and Google has now started sending me gift cards because of all of my reviews that I have posted over the years. Now, granted, it's probably been 8 or 10 years of all of these. I tend to not leave a negative review, but I do try to take original pictures. And this is just my own,
Mhm.
Google Maps, whatever. But I don't know that it helps my business, but I
It
think
helps
it
thinkers.
must, I think it's me on Google. And so I think that my website is also it's all attached to that account, but I now get a $25 or $50 gift card for Amazon from Google, or I can choose whatever I want. And it's like every 100,000 views, they send me a reward. I think that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. So speaking of that, there's another tidbit. When you're asking people to write a review for you, if they put photos in the review, again, that's even better. So it's harder for me, like, what are people going to do? Screenshot their website and put it up there? Most likely not. It's never happened. I have 40 reviews and no one's ever posted a video or a photo. But if you send them a request, I'm going to start doing this now. And then put the photo of like the logo I designed, or the website that I designed, and say, can you upload this with your review? That even adds more clout to you in Google's mind. So you got to find a way to ask them. Like, don't make them come up with a photo. Send them a photo with your request and ask them to upload that with their review. So here, right here is, you see the Google certified green check mark. That's Google. Well, it's called Google certified. They kind of changed it to Google guaranteed, but you have to go through quite a process in order to get that little check mark. It's not like setting up an ad. Setting up an ad is super simple. Getting to be Google certified is huge. Like, you have to go through steps in order to get that. But then you get this little check mark, and it's almost like an A+++ from Google. So each time someone clicks on this get phone number and actually calls it, that's when you get charged. So, but again, like I said earlier, that's not offered to every single business out there yet. So you have to be you have to wait. Like, I'm still waiting for mine because I can't do it yet. So
All right. Thanks, Amy.
we feel like we
really-
might need a sequel. Hey, I'm finally, because I was looking at the screen, my screen, I didn't see everybody's comments, so I'm
okay.
sorry about that.
No, thank you
That's
so
why I was
much. I mean,
trying to have two screens, so I could have like the slide over here, and then I could see what you guys were saying, and yeah.
it's okay. The
It didn't
PDF
want to
was
work that way.
very helpful. Yeah.
No, it
We
was really helpful to
appreciate
have the PDF so that we could, despite everybody's got technology issues, I swear. So that was really helpful. And I am
Yeah.
going to go search my images and see if I do have alternate text now. But having a client that's, she's blind and was born that way. So she has really made me acutely aware of, like I said, drop a pin at the front door so that Uber doesn't let you off in the bushes, because this has happened to her. So once you have a personal, you can relate to that. So she's calling on the phone going, hey, Uber left me off and I think I'm on the side of the building because all I feel is bushes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it
And I
makes it,
think a lot of the ADA stuff came really kind of second nature to me, because I did a lot of work for the Lions Eye Bank in the past. I did a lot of design work for them. And so when I was designing their brochures and other things like that, I learned a lot about vision issues, right? Oh, okay, it's not just blindness. There's a ton of other issues that people have that, we don't talk about. And so when it came to ADA compliance, I realized when I started diving down that rabbit hole, I was like, oh, I'm already designing stuff. Like, you don't want to put black on red, right? Because to some people, that's the same color. So it looks like one big colored screen. They don't see the difference between black and red. And people with different color, maybe they're blind with green or blind with blue or blind with purple. So just make sure that when you're designing something, everything has massive contrast to it. Like, there's a dark background and not just like, oh, a medium color in here. Because if they don't see the color that's the medium color, it's just going to blend together as one big. So make sure there's a big contrast in anything that you do. So, Marie, I think you might like this. I'm going to share the screen. This is the test that I do for ADA compliance. I actually use two different platforms, but this one's free. The other one I pay for. And it gives a lot more information, but this is Wave. And if you run your website through here, it will give you a ton of feedback on what needs to be changed.
Cool.
And that's
excellent.
That's 100% free.
I think that the client gave me like a website or whatever that she uses as well. So she works at the university and she does ADA compliant things with the university as a whole. And then she teaches now, which is really cool. And so she has a lot of these tools and she'll be like, pull up on her phone and go, look at this, because I can't see it. You tell me what it says. And she's hilarious. So she's but this is really helpful. Thank you.
Love it.
Mhm.
Well, anyone who's interested in learning more, getting help with SEO, reach out to Amy. She is in our directory, the Super User Index. And if you're interested in becoming a member, jump onto superuserindex.com and grab your monthly membership or yearly, whatever works, and get more visible. So with that, great to see everybody and have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.